Hey there, Oilers. Welcome to day 16 of the Game Plan Bootcamp. I'm so glad to have you with me tonight. Y'all ready for some oil adrenaline? I know that I am. I'm really excited. My name is Sarah Harnish. This is one of my favorite trainings of the entire boot camp because it's the one that takes the fear out of sharing Oilers. My name is Sarah, and I'm a platinum leader in Young Living, and I'm also the author of the Game Plan book, which is right here. Game Plan, the complete strategy guide to go from starter kit to silver. It's up on Amazon right now. It's an Amazon bestseller. Go check it out if you don't have it in your hands yet. I know tonight's going to be a crazy night. There's going to be a lot of questions. We have a lot of people on tonight for the compliance training, so I'm probably not going to be able to answer all your questions, but I am going to do a round table after the boot camp is over and answer your questions then. So just hang tight if I don't get to you, because sometimes the questions are flying by the screen so fast I can't even read them all. All right, tonight we're going to hit one of the most critical aspects of your entire Young Living business, and that is FDA compliance. Who's terrified? You don't need to be. If you're following along, this is day 16 of a 25-day boot camp. I love Lily, and she goes, I freaked when I first read the chapter. It's all right. It's okay. We're going to take all the fear out of it tonight. Tonight's chapter 16 is designed to take the fear out of the FDA. So I'm going to go through compliance inside out, upside down, forwards and backwards, and I'm going to describe it to you in the clearest that you have ever heard it described before, ever. If this has been the thing keeping you back from doing your business, then this is your night to move forward. This is your night to not be afraid anymore. This is your night to really hashtag yourself poverty over, diamond rising, right? You got a game plan. We're going to give you tools and resources. I'm going to lay out all the rules for you. And if you don't understand, you can sit down and you can highlight it in the book and write it out and ask me questions. Tony says also the rally, the Live Your Passion rally that we just had in Corning a week ago, we've got a highlight video coming from that. He went behind the stage, backstage. We had a packed out rally last weekend. I was a keynote speaker at it, and we had a whole stage packed with silvers and did thousands in giveaways, and it was a lot of fun. So we'll be putting a highlight video up for you as well so you can see the inside of what one of our rallies looks like on the Oilability team. Back to FDA compliance training. Where does the training come from? People have asked me, Sarah, what makes you so qualified to talk about FDA compliance training? Well, you guys know Game Plan. It was written by over 1,800 questions compiled from my leaders on the Oilability team, dozens and dozens of diamond interviews that I've done. I interview at least 10 to 12 diamonds every single time I take a corporate trip. I've been on 17 trips with Young Living since I started all over the world, Turkey, Croatia, Greece. We were in Ephesus. We were in Venice. We've been in Ecuador. We've been in Alaska. We've been in Hawaii. We've been in 36 states. So every time I'm around training and asking, in the room with diamonds, I sit down and I interview them. And so this book was the culmination of all the questions on my team. It was the culmination of all those diamond interviews that I've done the last 2.5 years of my business. But you know where most of the content came from? Me screwing it up. I've messed up like everything in a Young Living business. And I thought, if I put all my mistakes in one place, I bet you would really help a few people out. But this training tonight comes completely from all my mistakes, all of the things that I did wrong with my business. So I will tell you, I've almost lost my business twice. 2 times I've had my account locked down. I haven't been able to get into the virtual office. I've had to contact compliance. I've done over 50 hours of training directly with corporate, with Young Living corporate and their conduct and education department, because I had to try to get my account back. So these are all the mistakes. So I almost lost my business twice. And because of that, I spent a lot of time on the phone with the conduct team, many members of the conduct team, learning all the ins and outs. And I took over 100 pages of type notes from the things that I learned from them. And then I've been training my team on it for 2 years on the stuff that they can do and the stuff that they can't do. And so this is, almost dropped my phone there. This is really going to give you a leg up so that you don't lose your business because of the mistakes that I made. So this information that I'm giving you tonight comes directly from Young Living Corporate. Every single piece of training in here is stuff that I picked up by sitting on the phone with them, screwing it up, and then going back and trying to fix it and delete things and change stuff. We spent almost 60 hours about 1.5 years ago going through line by line by line, deleting things off of our social media posts. So it's scary. scary. It's a real scary thing, and I want to make sure that you guys are well equipped and you know exactly what you can and can't do. The oils of the night tonight. I'm gonna tell you guys, you all get a little worked up when we're talking about compliance. So my goal is to make you unworked up. We want to support the systems in your body and calm you down. So these are oils that take you to a happy place, right? That means that we're talking about peace and calming. Really good oil when we're talking about FDA compliance. Also, Idaho Blue Spruce. This is one of my favorite oils for confidence. It just makes me feel really good about what I'm talking about. It's just amazing oil for confidence. And then one of my favorite oils. This is like one of my top 3 favorite oils in all of Young Living. Stress Away, right? So we're gonna have a no stress FDA compliance training with confidence and calmness. Peace and calmness, right? That's the name of the game for this evening. All right, so here we go. Where does the training come from? It comes from all my mistakes. That's the nitty gritty of it. So I got flagged twice. 2 times I tried to log into my account. So what happens when you get flagged? You've got 3 strikes. There's a 3-strike policy when it comes to FDA compliance. Strike 1, first thing that's going to happen is you're going to wake up one morning, you're going to go in, you get flagged by the FDA. You don't even know you've been flagged yet. You go to log into your virtual office in the morning and you put it in, and this number pops up on the screen saying, give Young Living a corporate a call. And you don't know why. You just can't log into your virtual office. So you try to get in and you can't get in. And you're like, okay, I don't even know what's up with this. So you call and they immediately direct you to compliance. And then you're on the phone with compliance and they're going to tell you all the things that you have been flagged for. It might be somebody who took a screenshot of your account and sent it to them. It might be the FDA, which sits in Washington, D.C. and looks for stuff like this online all the time. It could be Young Living, because Young Living has an entire team that searches for compliance to make sure that you're not out there saying stuff you shouldn't be saying. Their goal is to make sure oil is available to everyone. So what happens when your account is locked down? You can't order oils. You can't log into your virtual office. You can't look at any of your team members. You can't watch your team. You can't look at your rank qualification. You don't know if you've ranked up. You can't order anything for your leaders for rallies and retreats and stuff. You can't order supplies. You can't restock stuff. You run out of deodorant. You are out of deodorant for a while until you can get yourself back into a place of clients. We're going to get to Pinterest in a little bit, Brandy. So it's important. Like it's the real deal. It's scary. What happens is they're going to give you 10 days to go in and change the mistakes that you've made, whatever they have found on your page. You have 10 days to go get that stuff deleted. In 10 days, they're going to pop back on and they're going to see if your account has been fixed. Now, if you do it in an hour, then you can call them back and they'll get on the phone with you and they're going to go through line by line and say, okay, this is still not compliant. This is still not compliant. They're going to walk through you step by step by step and show you, hey, these are the things that you need to change. So maybe you've had your business for a couple years and when you first started posting, you posted all sorts of stuff that wasn't okay. And that was 3 years ago and you haven't posted anything recently that's bad. But for some reason, somebody goes onto your page and they like that and that pops up on the top of your page and Young Living sees it. You're responsible for your page from the day that it was started, not from the minute you decided to be compliant. So I actually, the first time that I got flagged, I had so many things that were non-compliant on my page that I just deleted it and started the whole page all over again because it would have taken me 50, 60, 70 hours to go through and change it. Sherry, how do you know you've been flagged? You can't log into the virtual office. You try to, and a number comes up and it tells you to call corporate. And you literally cannot log into your VO. You are completely locked out of Young Living. So the second time that it happens, instead of having 10 days to fix it, you have 5 days to fix it. And the third time that it happens, when you get logged out, you have 24 hours to fix it. So if you have not fixed it in 24 hours, this is where it gets really, really serious, really serious. You have 24 hours the third time you get flagged. If you do not fix it, your account gets deleted from Young Living. That means you do not exist as a Young Living distributor again. Then you have to wait for 12 calendar months. After 12 calendar months, you're allowed to reapply for a distributorship, at which point they will go in, they will look at the first original letter of all the things you've done wrong. They're going to go into your accounts again. They're going to check to make sure that nothing in your accounts is non-compliant. And if you pass it, then they'll allow you to have a distributorship again. But you start from ground zero. It's as if you never existed. Your entire team is gone and they're off and they're doing things without you. And you have to start all over again, a brand new Young Living business from nothing. What about on your own personal page, old posts? Yep, everything matters. Everything matters. So you've got to take this seriously. Absolutely. If you think that it's 2 years old and it doesn't matter, you need to go find it and you need to change it, okay? Call me Dory, but I think you said the Jen O'Sullivan trifolds are compliant. Yes, Jen O'Sullivan stuff is compliant. She's done. Yes, Jerry, it's happened to me twice. And the third time that you get flagged, you got 24 hours to fix it, and if you haven't fixed it, you're dead meat. You know, you run the risk of losing your entire organization, and you're gonna have to wait a year and then apply to be able to become a Young Living distributor again. They're gonna check over everything, and you got to start all over again. So it is very, very scary, and it is something that you need to take very, very seriously. However, I will tell you, they can see it if the page is secret. Yes. All right. So I will tell you, the Conduct and Education Department of Young Living is fantastic. And they will sit on the phone with you for hours and go through line by line by line and tell you every single thing. I sat there so many times in tears, worried that I was going to lose everything. So let me share some of my mistakes with you to make sure that you don't get busted. Okay, that you don't get busted. You're going to feel really, really defeated right now, and especially as I'm going through the rules. But I will tell you, I'm going to give you a lot of tools and a lot of resources and a lot of things so that you can get ahead of this, so this is not an issue. How do they see the privacy? If your privacy, it doesn't matter on your privacy settings, okay? It does not matter. The government can see anything. For heaven's sakes, guys, Russia can see the election results. I can guarantee you the FDA can see if your group is closed or private, all right? When you put it on the internet, it's out there forever. Forever. So just because it's in a secret group or a private group does not mean that they cannot see it. So if it's online, you're putting it out there for everybody, no matter what kind of a group you've got it in. So is the FDA evil? I've had people ask me this, like straight up, is the FDA evil? No. All right, no, the FDA is not evil, and the rules are not bad, all right? The rules were written in the 1930s. They just haven't been followed. So people come to me all the time and they say, well, Sarah, the FDA is just scouting out Young Living, and they're just out to get Young Living. No, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. I'll wait for 1 second here so you guys can get caught up. You say I keep freezing, but hopefully it's all right. Okay, good. Tracy says she was flagged. She got an email, got a phone call, letter in the mail. They were very helpful. I didn't get locked out. All right, there we go. Maybe weather related. We're okay now. We should be all right. So no, guys, the rules are not new. They're not something they created just to go after Young Living. The FDA is a good organization. They're a good group. The rules were actually written in the 1930s. I did some research on this to find out exactly what was going on with all these FDA rules. It's just that people aren't following them. And when you have an organization that's $1 billion organization and people are out there making claims that they don't have the legal authority to make, then we're breaking the rules. And here's the thing, all right? I'm just going to tell you this because this is something I really felt convicted on. If you're running your business with integrity, then God is going to bless that. If you know the rules and you're sneaking under the radar and you're not running your business with integrity, the Lord is not going to bless your business. If you're not faithful with the small things, He's not going to bless you with more. And the Bible tells us to follow the rules of the land. Whether we agree with the rules or whether we disagree with them, we have to follow the rules. So I would tell you, please, all right, please take this stuff seriously. You know what the consequences are, and you need to make sure that you're following the rules, all right? You need to make sure you're following the rules. So is Young Living being singled out? No. Laura, yes. If you delete now, you're going to be just fine. You'll be just fine, all right? Is Young Living being singled out? No. No, the FDA does this to everybody, whether they're a vitamin company, whether they're, making supplements, whether they're another wellness company, another oils company. The rules apply to everybody in the United States. So Young Living is not being singled out at all right? The rules are there for your protection. They're there to make sure that you're not getting wood chips in your vitamins, okay? Or buying some weight loss pills that don't do anything from some company that you think that you can trust. So the FDA is a valuable organization that does very good things in this country. They saved a lot of people from getting hurt. All right. And the rule is you got to follow the rules. You have to. So they apply to us as well. And instead of griping about it and complaining about it, just follow directions. All right. Follow directions. Young Living has to have a system in place to make sure that its members are not breaking federal law. All right. Or it could force the entire company to shut down. And then everybody's going to lose their oils for a handful of people that are not compliant. I know you guys are frustrated with the FDA, but here's the thing. They make the rules and we don't. And the Bible tells us to follow the rules of the land. So if you're running your business with integrity, God's going to bless it and it's still going to be multiplied, even if you're following the rules. All right. I'll give you an example of that at the very end of this lecture today. So why doesn't Young Living just become FDA certified? I've had people ask me that all the time. I had so many people ask me that I actually asked Mary Young specifically when I was in the Gold Retreat. I talked to her for about 40 minutes and just said, all right, Mary, talk to me. Like, if you have science that backs up some of the claims that you're saying and your oils are being tested at the National Institutes of Health, and there are things that we can say about the oils, then why don't you just do it for all of the oils? Just get everything through the hoops of the FDA and spend your $1 billion to do all of your research, and then we can talk about the oils and all of the amazing things that the tests have shown that they're able to do. So why don't you just do that? And her head just kind of went down and she said, Sarah, the minute that we get all of our oils FDA certified, then what happens is they fall under the medical system in the United States. And now if you want an oil to do something specific, you have to go to the doctor. He has to write a prescription. He's going to give it to you. You're going to have to take it to Walgreens or Rite Aid. It's going to fall under the health insurance plan, under Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act. If you don't have good health insurance, then you're going to get cheap oils that may not do the same thing that the Young Living oils do because you're only approved for a generic, and they could actually end up hurting people and not helping them. And she said, we don't want that. We want oils to be for everybody, whether you live in a hut in Africa or we're coming in Uganda, whether you're living in a mansion in the United States. We want them to be accessible to everybody, no matter how much you make, no matter what you have access to, no matter how good your healthcare is. And the minute that we go through those hoops with all of the rules in the United States, we have lost that. And now oils are not for everybody. They are based on your income, and they are based on your insurance, and they are based on what you can afford. So she said, Young Living is never going to go for that. We're never going to try for that because we want to stay above the line of wellness. When we're above the line of wellness, and that's the place that we're talking from, we don't have to deal with compliance. It doesn't have to fall under the medical system. So do you guys understand why? Now, it doesn't mean there's not going to be individual products that Young Living gets FDA approved because they really believe that people would be blessed to be able to talk about them in that way. Good examples of that are the Vitality line, which we can now talk about oils internally. And we didn't have the right to talk about that, but because of the Vitality line, we do have the ability to talk about that. Another example is the Cool Azul pain cream. We weren't allowed to say pain cream before, but because of the testing done at the National Institutes of Health that the FDA has recognized as valid testing, we have won the approval for that one product, not for any other products, but just for the pain cream, to talk about its use in pain relief, okay? And it says it right on the side of the bottle, but that's the only product that you can talk about that way because it's been approved for that use. Same thing with the Thieves cough drops. Because of the testing being done at the National Institutes of Health, we have been approved for that one product only to talk about using the cough drops for a cough, all right, and any other wording that's on the packaging. If it's outside of that product, you can't talk about it in that way because then you're not above the line of wellness. All right, you're not staying above that line. So hopefully I've answered some of your questions and I've taken out some of the fear of the FDA. They're in place for a reason, guys, all right, because there are systems in place in this country to make sure that we're not getting duped, like if you're living in developing countries that don't have these rules in place for your protection. So Vitality is not FDA approved, but the wording on the side of the package is approved for internal use. Yes, okay, yes. The government has said you can use the Vitality line for internal use. So we can talk about them in that way if it has the Vitality label on it, all right? There's a difference between labeling and FDA approval. They're not exactly the same thing. So exactly. Yeah. Kathy says everything I'm telling you is also in your virtual office. So you can go and you can look that up in your virtual office and there's wonderful resources, but sometimes it's hard to get it all in one place. So we put it all in one spot for you in the game plan book. So it's easy to find. So let me go back into the lecture here. Here's the thing. You just need to learn the lingo. You need to learn how to speak. You need to learn how to talk about the oils. You're like, all right, Sarah, so I know what I can say about the Thieves cough drops, and I get what I can say about the Vitality oils, and I get what I can say about pain cream, but what do I say about Idaho Blue, Spruce, and Stress Away? Help me out here. I don't know what I can talk about when it comes to the 140 oils that Gary Young has developed. What can I say about those things specifically? You just got to learn how to talk about them. It doesn't mean you can't talk about the oils. It means that you can't talk about them for treating or curing disease. So instead, we're talking about respiratory support, immune support. You're not going to live in the land of sickness. You're going to live in the land of health. You're going to live in the land of wellness. I shared my migraine story with you guys, I believe on the first day of boot camp. And if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, it's a really, really powerful story on day one of boot camp. I was cured of migraines 4 years ago, almost exactly 4 years ago. It was January 18th that I had my very last migraine headache 4 years ago. After 24 years of brain bleeds, after I was at a risk for catastrophic stroke, 13 neurologists, 16 families of migraine medicines, I was on 6 medications that I needed to take every 2 hours for the rest of my life. I cured my migraines by changing my diet, by cutting sugar and gluten and dairy, and then by banning all of the chemicals out of my house. You can check out gapsdiet.com, G-A-P-S diet.com, to learn a little bit more about how you can change your diet and work on your gut health. About 6 months after my very last migraine that I had, and it was a living hell, guys. I mean, I was tremoring, my face would droop. I had them 10 days a month. When I would pick things up on the right side of my body, I would drop them on the ground. I had no strength in my right side. I had diarrhea. My body responded to the terrific pain every single month, 10 days a month, by vomiting and diarrhea. I would get dehydrated. I would go into the hospital, usually once a month, and get what we called a migraine cocktail, which was intravenous. They would give you a pain medication, an anti-nausea, and an anti-inflammatory to stop that cycle of vomiting so that I wouldn't keep throwing up because the pain was so intense from the migraines that I couldn't stop it. It's been 4 years since I had my last migraine headache, and I cured it completely through my diet, through changing the way that I ate. About 6 months after my last migraine, after the last one that I had, I got introduced to Young Living. And I realized that that is what I had been looking for 24 years. 24 years and 13 neurologists. Every single time I sat down with another doctor, I said, please find the source of the migraines. Tell me what the root cause is. Tell me how I can get rid of these things instead of always treating all the side effects. Tell me what I can do to get to the cause of what's under all of this. I don't understand. One of my greatest frustrations with the medical world was that it was always chasing symptoms. I asked my neurologist why I didn't just find the source of the migraines. He told me, and this is a quote, he said, "It's too hard. We don't know. Your hormones are changing all the time. We're not sure what the cause is." So instead, I was given pills for vomiting. I was given pills for pain. I was given pills for swelling. I was given pills to counteract the side effects of the other pills. I was on over 32 pills a day at 30 years old, and my babies were 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 when I was going through this. I had 5 babies under the age of 8 when I was having these brain bleeds every single month. One of the things that makes Young Living so amazing is it's a wellness company. Wellness means you stay above the line of disease. It's what I was searching for. It's preventative maintenance. It's putting your systems in a place where they're really well supported so your immune system is strong, so your respiratory system is supported, so your brain is supported, your joints are supported. It's the first time in my life that I've seen a company that goes after the root cause, which is a weary system, a weary body. You're giving the body a leg up so that it can do what it needs to do to fight the things that it faces. It's not about the oils curing disease. Your body does that. Your body does the fighting. The oils work in the wings to support the systems. They're supporting your body. So what does that look like? It means that you're taking supplements like Pure Protein Complete and Life 9 for your gut health. You're taking Thieves Vitality internally if you feel that you need a little bit of immune support. You pop RC in the diffuser for respiratory support. It's about setting the stage for your body to have the resources that it needs so your body can do the fighting. System support, all right? Oh man, I have so many people come to me, but Sarah, nobody's going to buy oils from me if I share non-compliant testimonies. If I can't talk about the stuff that I see, nobody out there is going to buy anything from me. That is baloney. That's a lie that you're believing, okay? It's a lie that you're believing. People are not stupid. They're not dumb, okay? If they know that they need respiratory support for whatever reason that they might need respiratory support from, you don't need to lead a horse to the water. They're going to connect the dots that there may be something out there of value for them to try if you tell them to pop it in their diffuser and see how they feel. You're not curing disease. You're offering ideas for system support. Keep it in the land of support. Stay above the line of wellness. Do not cure stuff. If you keep your dialogue in that place, you're never going to be in trouble with the FDA because the oils are not treating anything. Do you guys understand? Do you understand the difference between support and between medicine? They're two completely different things. Now, here is one very simple rule of thumb to follow. If you just need everything in one nutshell and you just need one sentence that you can throw out there, you just keep in the forefront of your mind. I'm going to get into the nitty gritty for the greens and the red personalities out there that want very specific things. But for the sapphires out there and the pearls that are overwhelmed, I'm going to give you one sentence that you can keep in the forefront of your mind that's going to help you digest this in a way that's very bite-sized and very easy to understand. This is a very quick rule, okay, just to keep in the forefront of your mind so that you don't totally blow this when you're out there talking in classes. If you can walk into a drugstore and you see it on a shelf, it's likely FDA approved. If you're walking into a Rite Aid or a CVS pharmacy or a Walgreens and you see it sitting on the shelf, it's probably been approved by the FDA, and it's not something that you can talk about. That's not something you can discuss, like sunscreen, bug spray, or any kind of cream. If it's sitting on one of those shelves, use that as a gauge of what you can say. So you can't have sunscreen that you have made out of whatever concoction you've got in your house. You can't talk about it because that is an FDA approved item. Now I'm going to give you some very, very specific rules, very specific things about what you cannot say about the oils. And then I'm going to point you to some resources about things that you can say so you don't feel totally overwhelmed. I'm going to give you some tools just like I always do so you walk away feeling empowered and educated and not completely blown up and ready to give up. All right, we're not in the land of blow up, ready to give up. Just absorb it as you're able to. Take notes on it. Go back and rewatch this again tomorrow or in a couple days when you're done crying. Because I cried a lot over all these rules. I was really frustrated because I screwed it up for an entire year. And we're going to be diamond next month, guys. I'm really glad that I fixed this stuff because it was worth fighting for. Your distributorship is worth fighting for. It is worth the words coming out of your mouth. So don't give up because of the words coming out of your mouth. Just learn the language. Learn what you're able to say, all right? Here's a few specifics. We're going to start with online posts because that's where most of the marketing for your classes begins, is online. When you're online, it is out there forever. So here are some tips. If you're on Facebook, only pull graphics from Young Living's website or from the Young Living blog. Those are the only places that I'm going to pull my stuff from that I know that they're safe because they've been through a team of lawyers on Young Living, and I know that that stuff is safe. Young Living feels that it's safe to put out there on their website, then it's going to be safe for us as well. So start with those two places, either the Young Living website or the blog. There's tons. There's literally, you have 3 years of posts that you could put up. You cannot say sun spray, and I'll explain why in a minute. All right. Number 2, if you're running a Facebook page, this is one that got me fried. My second time around, I got burned because of this one. Do not post any links that people can click on. You are responsible for where those links go. The FDA does not just look at the article, they look at it all. They look at where you're sending people. So say you put an article up on Mercola.com and the article itself is totally compliant. But if they use your Facebook page to click to that article, so you're sending them there, and there's a button on the side of that article that is all about oils treating diseases, and they're able to go from that article to a place of non-compliance, you just led them there. You just put them in that place, and therefore your page is not compliant. What books can you use? Okay, so one of the things I wanted to tell you is you cannot use anti or dis words, and Young Living talks about this also. So no antiseptic, no antibacterial, disinfectant. Those are words that are on the banned list. So you can't use those things. So do not ever talk about thieves cleaner or any thieves stuff at all using those words because we don't have the authority to talk about the products in that way. And I told you guys about the Thieves products that I gave away from the main stage. So what can you say about the Thieves Cleaner? What's a way you could talk about Thieves products that's completely compliant? Well, it's a chemical-free cleaner. Instead of poisoning your family with harsh chemicals, this is made up of just oils and plants. Show before and after pictures of what your kitchen looks like, and then just leave it at that. You don't have to talk about with all those words that you're not allowed to say. No anti-words, no dis words. If you stay in the land of compliance and you stay above the line of wellness and you're just talking about chemical-free cleaning supplies, that's totally compliant. That's completely all right. Now let's talk about books, because you guys have asked me a lot about books and about Zytos, and these fall in exactly the same category. The rule of thumb is you can't have it in the room where you're teaching. And you can't have it on the table where you're doing any oils products. So what books can you use to educate your team about the oils? I actually meant to grab a book to show you guys, to give you an example of a book that you could use that is totally compliant. I didn't grab it though, so let me grab it right now. I have to go to a very dark place. Let's see here. I got a whole big old closet loaded with books. Do I have the book I'm looking for though? I might just have to tell you about it. I might not be able to show. Oh, here's one. Good. Okay. Sorry about that. I want to give you a good example. So what about books, especially when you're doing your follow-up, because follow-up packages, people can snapshot that stuff and send it to the FDA, especially if it's people you've never even met before. So what about when you're mailing things out to touch base with your brand new team leaders? The FDA, or if you're having classes, the FDA does not want you to have a table of books for sale in the room where your classes are taught. Save the game plan book. I'll tell you, this book, every single word in is 100% compliant. We sent it through Conduct and Education. It's totally, completely kosher. It's 99% business materials, but the scripts that I've given you in the back are completely compliant. Matter of fact, I've got a project in the works right now with all of the scripts, the dozens of scripts that I've written, the beauty school, chemical-free home, how to play with your starter kit, 101, 102, 103, 104, oils in the bedroom, all the scripts I've written. I'm in the process of trying to get them through compliance so I can give you guys a script book, a game plan script book. And if we can get them all through and we get the approval, then we'll be able to release that. If not, I'm not going to release it because I don't want to put our family business in jeopardy. So if you guys want to pray that we're able to get all of those through Conduct and Education and they give us the approval on it, I would love to release some of the scripts that I've worked on for the last 2.5 years. I've got gazillions of them on my computer, but I have to stay in the place of compliance also. I'm hoping so, Jen. If you want to pray over that, that'd be awesome. So can we give books like reference guides outside of classes? All right, I'm getting to that. So the FDA doesn't allow you to have tables of books for sale in the room where your classes are taught. Save the game plan book. That is completely compliant. So I'm talking about reference guides. If you have those on a table for sale, there has to be more than one type of book, and it's got to be kept outside of the hall that you're teaching, and it cannot be where you're teaching, and it cannot be on a table with Young Living oils. It's got to be on a totally separate table than all the others, all right? It also breaks the rules to give away the books as an incentive for buying the kit. You can't do that. If you're working with somebody and you're using a reference guide, the rule of thumb is if somebody comes to you and says, I need to use an oil for this disease, what can I do for this disease? If you open up the book and say, well, on page 53 for this disease, it says XYZ, you just cross the line. Okay. If they come to you and say, boy, I've got this disease and I need help treating this disease, you can say, you know what? I've never had that disease before and I really can't help you. I don't know. But you could begin your research by looking at this reference guide, PubMed.com, or this book, okay? That you can say, that you are allowed to say. The minute you open the book and you point to a page and you tell them how to cure a disease, you just cross the line. You can point them to the names of multiple titles, not one, multiple titles, and tell them where to begin their research. But when you do the research for them, you've just crossed that line, okay? You just cross the line. So let me continue here. What books can you use to educate your team about the oils? So it needs to be kept in a hall that you're teaching, on a table that you don't have any oils on. You cannot give the books as an incentive for buying the starter kit. So then people ask me, well, then what can I do? Use compliant material that you can give away with starter kits. One of my favorite compliant books to give away to everybody who gets starter kits is Jordan Schrant's Welcome Book. I love this one. You can get this at Purpose Meets Hustle. Jordan is a friend of mine. She's a Crown Diamond in Young Living. She's a beautiful Christian woman, got an amazing family, an incredible story. Her story is worth buying and reading. It's amazing. But you can find these at purposemeetshustle.com. And there's a lot of really good ideas in here on how to get them started with their starter kit, but there's no rules that are broken. There's nothing in there that's not compliant. It's all for support. So you don't want the focus of your class, I'll tell you, on retail sales anyway. I just had a woman ask me about this. She said, well, Sarah, what if I want to sell this DIY that I've made in my class and this DIY that I've made in my class, and I want to have this on a table as well? And I'm not even talking about the names for diseases for oils, but you just want to have a whole store stock that you take with you. We're going to talk a little bit more about this farther on in Game Plan. That's not the money in this business, guys. That's not where the money is. You're spending time. That falls under the category of distraction. You've gone down a rabbit trail. The money is in growing a team. It's in getting them on essential rewards. It's in training and raising business builders. A retail store always has to be stocked. It never does the work for you when you're away. A team is a snowball that grows and it rolls down the hill like a mountain. And when you've got an emergency, that team is always there. It's like a brick and mortar store that's run by employees when you're not there. All right. When you're retired and you're on vacation, your employees are still out there working for you. And I'm not insinuating that your downline is employees. They're not. But I'm trying to give you an idea in your mind of how network marketing works. Whether you're there or you're not there, that snowball's still rolling down the hill. It's still making you money. So focus on the things that grow your business. Teaching classes, follow up, getting people on ER, and growing leaders. Those three things. Teach classes, do follow up, grow leaders. If you're not doing those three things and you're out there stocking a store, which is illegal, and carrying it from class to class to class so you can make some money on the side, first off, it's a lack of integrity. All right, and God's not going to bless that because you're breaking the rules and policies and procedures. But more importantly, it's a distraction. You're not doing things that are growing your business. So you're not going to grow. And then you're going to get frustrated because there's people around you growing faster, but you're sitting there stocking a store and they're growing business builders and they're teaching classes and they're getting the 101 lecture in front of as many faces as they can. They're the ones that are growing and you're the one that's not growing because you're not doing things that are growing your business. So get away from all that. You don't need that. All right. If you want to make a couple of bottles of thieves cleaner and give them away, because people have never used thieves cleaner and use that as a hook, all right, that gets them interested in the oils, that's fine. If you want to stock an entire store of make and takes that you carry from place to place to place, that's different. And you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. So Christine says, am I misunderstanding this post from Conduct and Education that says you can give reference material as an incentive? I'll go back and look at it, Christine, but I'll tell you, when I talked with Conduct about it, when I was on the phone with them, they told me not to do that. They said gifts have to be under $25. They really, really strongly don't like the Higley Guide. I've had Gary and Mary multiple times tell me they do not like that book. So I'm just very cautious and I try to respect their wishes. Instead, give them a list of books that they can continue to grow their knowledge. If people come to me and they've got small children, I'll recommend the Gentle Babies book by Deborah Rayburn. If they want to work on emotions and emotional release, I'll recommend the Releasing Emotional Patterns book. I'll recommend the ULA kit, right? I'll recommend things to them. But when you're putting those things in their hands, you're in that fuzzy gray area of what's allowed. And the thing is, guys, as you rank higher and higher and higher in Young Living, maybe right now your check is $100 a month, all right, or $300 a month. But when you become a diamond, or gold or a platinum, and your check is $15,000 a month, you don't want to be in the gray area. You don't want to lose that legacy income that you can will to your children and your family. It's not worth it for sending out reference guides. So instead, send out a welcome book, which is a little less intimidating to somebody. Instead of a 300-page welcome reference guide, send out a welcome book with 30 recipes in it that's going to train them how to use the kit, okay, without overwhelming them, and then tell them, hey, there are other resources if you want to continue your education. Here's a couple of other ideas, and give them some names of some books. Don't ever open the book. Don't point to a page. Don't use the oils for treating the disease. Don't run down that line. Instead, give them things that are compliant. Not only that, but this book is $3. This is a lot cheaper than buying reference guides for every single person on your team. So that's a place that I would recommend. All right, don't go to the land of the gray. It's not worth it. There might be some people in Conduct that tell you it's okay. There might be some things printed that tell you it's okay, but I'll tell you as a diamond, almost diamond, I'm talking about myself in the land of the positive here. As an almost diamond, I'm not going to give reference guides out, okay? Because that's in a fuzzy gray area. And it could take me to a place of non-compliance like that fast if people are asking me questions about it. So I'd rather give out things that I know are compliant and then point them in the direction where they can do more research. Do you see the difference between how you educate? It's a little different if you're pointing them to resources that are going to help them grow. All right. So no rules broken. If you're using the welcome book, there's tons of ideas in there and you're completely in a land of compliance. You're not going to get yourself in any trouble. You don't want the focus of your class on retail sales. All right. You want to keep your focus on the three things that grow you: teaching classes, follow up, and growing leaders. You don't need a store for a 101 class. You need a starter kit and you need a script. That's it. That's all you need to do this business: a starter kit and a script. And I'll add to that, just for good marketing, that after you get through the first class, you're going to have a lot of questions about your business. And that's where Gameplan comes in, because it answers all those questions that you as leaders don't want to sit there and answer over and over and over and over again. So if you're just handing the book off to your leaders, I give the Gameplan book to every single person who ranks. At the end of every month, there's a button in the Oily Tools application that we talked about last week that says new rankers. I make a list of all the people that ranked, and I just send out the books to all the people in my team that ranked, because now it's answering their questions without me having to be that person that answers every single question. Where do I place people on my team? How do I rank up? I don't understand the virtual office. So this answers all of it for them. So that's one way that you can use the book. The other thing that I want to tell you is just one more thing. Teach them to fish instead of giving them fish. So teach them to fish instead of giving them fish. If you answer a question on back pain at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're always going to have to answer those questions. Always, always, always. So point them in the right direction and then tell them where to do their own research, but don't ever give answers to people coming to you with disease questions. I love Mary Young's sentence that she gave us when we were at the Gold Retreat about 1.5 years ago. She said, well, I don't know about that disease. I don't have that, but you can start your research in these places. You guys have that? That's a sentence that you can use to get out of those questions. I don't know that. I've never had that before. I can't really answer that question, but here's where I would start my research. All right. Here's where I would do. So Jen says, what if you're talking about ridding chemicals? Can you reference studies on the bad things about chemicals in those cleaners? Yes. Yes. If you're talking about chemicals, yes. If you're talking about oils for treating disease or inferring that, no. That's where you cross the line. So I want to give you a little bit of encouragement. All right. Let me finish my thought there. Teach them to fish. Don't be the one out there talking non-compliantly. Teach them to fish, okay? Teach them to fish. So let me give you some encouragement. In March of 2015, this is after my business was suspended twice in the virtual office, question about Zytoscans. The rule on Zytoscans is it's got to be outside the room if you're running it. And I'll tell you, Zytos are in the land of the gray. They're in the land of the gray. Gary and Mary really don't like them very much. They don't talk very positively about them. My understanding from conduct and education is that as long as the scanning machine is outside the room that you're teaching in, that it can be considered part of the vendor hall and that you will not get in trouble for that. But again, as you rank up, you might decide that that's not a gray area that you really want to take your business to. The Atovi, the Zytos, maybe that's not a place that you feel very comfortable. So you're going to have to decide how far you want to go. Compliance is a thing that you got to decide. You know, there's going to be some sapphires out there that are like, yeah, I'm just going to go all the way. Like, I'm totally okay with this. And I got people on the other side that are as emerald can be, my green personalities, that are like, no, these are the rules. And I'm going to live within the boundaries of those rules and I'm going to follow it. So yes, Atovi falls under the same category. Now, they have revamped a lot of their programs. So they're talking more about supporting systems. I haven't seen a Zytoscan recently that has talked about curing disease. All right. They generally don't do that. But the rule of thumb is what conduct has told me is it needs to be outside the room you're teaching in. Outside the room you're teaching in. So I hope that helps you guys and answers the Zyto question. All right. Greens unite. I love you, Kristen. You're awesome. Okay. So let's just end with some encouragement, because I know this is like a full comprehensive FDA compliance training. And I swear to you, my trainings for boot camp will not go this long again. I promise. But there were so many things I wanted to hit that weren't even in the book that I hope have encouraged you and given you some parameters on things you can say. You know that if you stick to the 101 script, you're going to be in safe territory. You know that if you're sharing stuff off the blog, you're in safe territory. You know, if you're not sure whether you can talk about vitality oils or topical or internal, you know there's a chart in the member resources tab on the virtual office that gives you a chart that'll show you what you can say. So I've given you a lot of resources on things. I've given you sentences on what to say when people come to you so you know how to respond to them. Well, I don't know. I haven't done that, but here's some places you can start your research. Okay, so hopefully this has taken some of the fear out of being able to talk about the oils compliantly. Now let me end with some encouragement to you. All right. I really do want to encourage you, because I swear to you with every bone in my body, this business is worth fighting for. And it's okay to be part of a wellness company instead of a company that treats disease. It's all right. It's worth fighting for, because if you've looked at the income disclosure guide and you've listened to bootcamp video 1 and 2, you know where this goes. All right. You know where this business goes. And you know that whether your pace is fast, your pace is slow, there is no wrong pace in Young Living. There is no wrong way of doing this. It's just about getting the 101 in front of people. The only people people that don't get to diamond are the ones that give up. They're the only ones that don't get there, are the ones that walk away too soon, or the ones that are spooked by FDA compliance. Just don't treat disease, guys. Don't treat disease, and you're going to have a thriving, healthy, growing, amazing young living business that's going to carry you all the way to diamond, that's going to bless your family, it's going to bless your children, it's going to bless the people that you will the income to, and it's worth fighting for. It's worth speaking compliantly. It's worth running your business with integrity. So some encouragement. In March of 2015, Stephanie, it doesn't matter if your pace is slow. You're still a diamond. Okay, you're still a diamond, and you're still going to get there. My diamond above me, Mary Star Carter, took 14 years to get to diamond. And you know what? She's enjoying the benefits of a diamond income in her 40s for the rest of her life. So it doesn't matter that it took her 14 years to get to diamond. Who cares? Who cares? If I'd work at a dollar store for 30 years to know that I would make $30,000 a month, I would work at the dollar store for 30 years knowing that I could ultimately get that income. It's worth it. All right, it's worth it. So some encouragement. In March of 2015, my OGV was $46,000 a month. All right, that was my OGV. 5 months later in August, my OGV was $67,000 a month. A few months later, my OGV was $153,000 a month. Right now, this month, my OGV is $230,000 a month. Next month, in February, it's going to cross $250,000, and John and I are going to be diamonds. I'm sure of it. All right, I'm sure of it. But we've only taught compliant classes since March of 2015. Since March of 2015, our OGV has been multiplied by 6, and every single class that I've taught since March has been totally compliant. There's been nothing in there where I'm treating disease or showing information or showing testimonies, and yet our OGV has been multiplied by 6. So can you reach people? Yes. Yes, you can reach people talking compliantly. You got to meet them where they are, and you got to educate them without treating disease by talking about the oil supporting systems. So you guys can do it. There is a good way of talking about it. Why? I told you about it in the 101 lecture. It's very, very simple. People are label reading. They're sick of the garbage in the products that they're using. Chipotle is cutting all the GMO products from their meat. Panera is cutting all of the chemicals from their salad dressing. Kraft is cutting all of the dyes from their mac and cheese. Heinz is cutting all of the corn syrup from their ketchup. This stuff didn't exist 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. You walk down the aisle, it says no high fructose corn syrup on the cereals because everybody's grabbing things and flipping the labels over of every single thing that they're reading, and they're saying, no, I don't want chemicals across the threshold of my door in my house. That's it. I'm done. I'm finished. As long as you stay on a chemical-free home, and oils, they got nothing in them. It's just the plant. It's just the steam distilled plant. There's literally nothing as pure as an oil on the entire face of the earth. We're not even as pure as an oil, all right? We're not even as pure because we put things on our body all the time that have chemicals in them, or we breathe chemicals in them. We're exposed to chemicals. The oils literally are the purest substance in the face of the earth. So if you're living in the land of the pure, you always have a place to talk about purity. Always. You can always talk about come from the chemical-free home angle if you don't know how to approach somebody about oils. Talk about them supporting the systems or come from a chemical-free angle, and you have a platform to teach people about oils without crossing into the land of non-compliance, all right? If a downline is flagged, does that put you at risk? No. No, it doesn't. Only you. Only your personal stuff. So, whew, all right, y'all got to go to Pinterest, delete your Pinterest folders. This is a great script layout of what we can say in the VO. There is a great script. Yes, the virtual office got wonderful tools in it, so go check it out. Young Living's done an amazing job getting information out to you, and I hope that this has put it all in one place so that you feel more confident about what you can share and what's okay and what's safe, all right? In 1 year, guys, in 1 year, after I started teaching compliant classes, John and I made it to the top 1% of all income earners in Young Living with no sales and no network marketing experience. So it doesn't matter when you get in. It's just about getting that 101 class in front of as many faces as you can, whether you're sharing from the oilabilityteam.com website for free, whether you're sharing the 101 audio that's completely compliant, or you're teaching to a couch of 5 people and just reading the script in Appendix A. Just read the script, follow up, rinse and repeat. That's it. Read the script, follow up, rinse and repeat. And the more frequently you do that, the faster you will rank. That is the way to get to diamond compliantly and keep the purest oils on the earth out there for everyone. You made it. You survived the FDA compliance training, all right? In layman's terms, we hit everything tonight, like everything in compliance. So tomorrow night's training is the comp plan. In layman's terms, we're going to lay it all out for you. Then on Wednesday, a strategy guide on where to sign new oilers. It's actually why I started writing Game Plan, was because people didn't know once they signed people where to put them. They didn't know, and we end up with people that are really, really wide or people that are really, really deep. So is there a strategy on where you place people so that your timing is good and your OGV and your legs hit at the same time so that you're able to rank up? Is there a plan for doing that? We're going to hit that on Wednesday. Thursday, how to reach and maintain rank. The entire secret to ranking up. How do you go beyond silver? How do you get to gold and how do you get to platinum? What's the secret to doing that? It's one word. I'm going to pass that along to you on Thursday. We're going to put some tools in your hands, tons of tools that are totally free that you can use on Thursday. Friday, how to balance it all. How the heck do you run a Young Living business and have a family and have kids, public school, homeschool, have a marriage? Like, how do you juggle it? Maybe you're still at your job and you're trying to balance the job and a Young Living business. Like, how on earth do you get all of that on your plate and still juggle it all? We're going to nail that. I'm going to give you a lot of tools on Friday on how to do it. So make sure you're doing the reading. What's the homework assignment? Read chapter 16 in the Game Plan book. Make sure you're doing all the compliance training. Do the chapter 16 worksheets in the Game Plan workbook, and then be ready for me tomorrow night. So that's your homework. I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow at 9 Eastern. Hopefully tonight really invigorated you, gave you lots of tools, told you you can do this. I believe in you. You're still a diamond rising. I believe you can talk compliantly about the oils. I love you guys. Have an awesome, awesome Monday night, and I'll see you tomorrow for a much shorter boot camp on Tuesday, 9 Eastern, same bat time, same bat channel. Have an awesome, awesome night, and oil up. I recommend, Idaho Blue Spruce. Bye.